Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for attending the TDL virtual job fair event. I'd like to first introduce you to Nicole. She's with Schneider Trucking. She's going to tell you a little bit about their company, the job openings they have, and how you can apply for those openings. So I will pass it off to you, Nicole.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring up my presentation here in just a second. It should be coming to everybody, so if you don't see it, let me know. Is everyone seeing it? Anyone not?
Yep, it looks good on our end.
Okay, thank you. I'm like, can't see anyone. Okay, so thank you guys for having me here to talk today about Schneider. Happy to do this. It's kind of nice getting back into the swinging things after being off for a while, so thank you. What I can tell you is a little bit about the company. We're with Schneider, and we're one of the nation's oldest trucking companies. We've been out there since 1935, so over 80 years in business now. I've been with the company for 17 years and working with the drivers since 2011, so almost 10-year mark with that. I'll kind of talk a little bit about the opportunities that we're going to have for anyone who is interested. I will be focused on driving opportunities. If you guys are looking for something different, I can give a little background on any of the other opportunities, but our focus is definitely on the driver part of that. If at any time you guys have a question, please don't hesitate to unmute yourself and jump in, and I'll try to answer any questions that you have, okay? So on this first slide, as you can see on the top, it's hiring experienced and inexperienced drivers. For our company, you do need to have that Class A license to be able to start with us. On occasion, however, we do offer some contract training where we can help pay for that truck driving school to get the license. Otherwise, you would just hire on with us after your truck driving school is completed. There are also other ways to get that license. You know, you could test on your own. You could potentially have a skills waiver from the military. And there's a lot of publicly funded programs out there also. So that's why we say experienced drivers who have already driven and those inexperienced drivers. We have a lot of different opportunities. Some are going to be solo positions. Some are team opportunities where there's 2 drivers in 1 truck. And there's going to be within those multiple others. And that's what I'm going to talk about first here. So on the bottom, you'll see it's called van truckload. People a lot of times think of van, if they're not in the industry, as, you know, driving a personal vehicle van. Van truckload in the industry is the 53-foot dry van trailer, okay? For my dry van division or van truckload division, all of my freight is going to be hauling freight for all customers. So it is not one specific customer. You're going to see a lot of the country within this position, and your routes are going to vary every single day. You won't have the same route over and over, okay? Within van truckload, we will have a solo regional opportunity. Some people really like that because it keeps them a little bit closer to home, but they still get that variation of customers out there. The regional drivers are going to travel what we call a greater Midwest area. So it doesn't keep you in the Midwest because it's tough to keep drivers going really consistently, just staying in about 5-6 states within the van truckload division. So the drivers will also go a little bit further south, looking at that Tennessee, Missouri area, and out east they're going to go as far as Pennsylvania. If you are interested in the industry, you'll start hearing about, oh, you don't want to go to Jersey, you don't want to go to New York City. The regional position will keep you out of those areas, so you don't have to worry about that if you don't want to go out there, okay? We also have over-the-road options. Over-the-road drivers are a 48-state travel position, so the 48 contiguous states. So you definitely get to see the whole country like this. My over-the-road drivers do tend to stay out longer, but when we say longer, we're talking every other weekend home if you want to be. I do have a lot of those over-the-road drivers that prefer to stay out 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or even have some that stay out months. That's 100% your choice if you want to do that over the road. Okay. Also in van truckload, we would have a team opportunity. Within my van truckload, you don't necessarily have to bring your own team partner. We do have many team partners that are looking for a team partner, so we do a little matching program. We ask some basic questions about your driving habits, your personal lifestyle, you know, what music do you listen to? Do you prefer to sleep at night, or are you okay to sleep during the day and drive at night? Those types of questions, just so we can pair you up with someone who we think will be compatible. And even before you get in the truck, we will have you talk with that individual multiple times to make sure it might be a fit for you. Okay. The team drivers, again, go coast to coast for sure. Most of them stay out 3 to 4 weeks at a time. The minimum is 21 days right now. And then some do choose to stay out longer, however. Okay. So that is van truckload in a nutshell. Dedicated is another opportunity that we have. Across the country, we have hundreds and hundreds of dedicated options. In the Midwest, I'd say we have about 30 that are consistently available throughout the Midwest, and probably a good handful in this area. Right now, due to COVID, we don't have quite as many dedicated opportunities, simply because a lot of those are non-essential customers, so they were shut down during that time, but we're slowly opening them back up and getting the drivers back where they belong, and then those will be opening again. As a side note, one of those great things is during this whole shutdown, we were able to keep our drivers moving. We never had to lay off any office associates or our drivers especially. We could just move them on different accounts because some of them ramped up during COVID, like Procter & Gamble. But dedicated means you'll just haul for one of our customers. So you're still a Schneider driver, but you're only hauling for a customer like Walmart, Dollar General, Family Dollar, Harley Davidson, Toro. The list goes on and on. In this way, all of those that I just mentioned are pretty common customers that we have out there for dedicated. So you'll definitely see those. It's more consistent pay, so there's not as big variation in the miles or the type of work as there could be with van truckload. Van truckload is consistent, but not quite as consistent as dedicated. The miles will vary by account, and there's different work on each of these accounts that you would know before you decide to come onto that account. For example, my dollar accounts require the driver to unload the trailers, so they're compensated at a higher rate. Walmart, you have to make multi-stop deliveries, but you're not unloading. And then we have like Georgia Pacific, it's one pick, one delivery, and there's absolutely no unloading. So they all have different types of labor involved within those dedicated accounts. None of this would be hidden from you, so to speak, before you were to hire on with us. You get to pick which account you'd want to come on to. So we're not going to force you into one or the other. Okay. Most of my dedicated accounts get home weekly. So you'd get home once every week. Most of them are on the weekends, some are not. Again, you would know that ahead of time. And then we also have some dedicated accounts that you'd be home daily. So my Target account, my Home Depot account in the Midwest, those are all home daily positions. So we do have some of those which drivers really like out there. So if that's what they're looking for, we can find some of those in some areas. Next up is intermodal. Intermodal is the rail yards. So the bulk of the rail yards are in Chicago. Right now, in this area, we do have some out in Minneapolis too, but the bulk in the Midwest is Chicago. So you have to live within an area within 100 miles, which I'm guessing the majority or a lot of you do. Will even go out to 200 quite often. For a new inexperienced driver, they would hire onto a regional option where you get home once a week. And my experienced drivers can hire directly onto a local option where they get home every day. The work is simply taking the containers that are on a chassis from the rail yard out to a customer, and then taking a customer's loaded container back to a rail yard. So there's not a lot of touch freight. You're in and out of the truck more often because the travel area is much smaller than most areas. So you're in and out of the truck. You're making sure that the container is seated on the chassis properly. And the chassis is the trailer basically under the trailer. It's the one with the wheels on, in case you're not familiar with that terminology, sorry. So you have to make sure that's all on there properly. So definitely some critical items in there, but you're gonna see that more home time in that smaller travel area with intermodal. Tanker is our next option that we have. We haul both liquid and dry bulk loads. So think of liquids, we are chemical based. It's not 100% chemical, but a lot of those will haul anything from water to acids, you know, hydrogen peroxide, whatever it may be. In the dry bulk loads are items like sand, and they're all in steel tank containers. Drivers in tanker tend to earn a higher income, and they also have some hands-on work, but it's not unloading like a dry van trailer would be. you have to be able to hook up all of the hoses that are right on that trailer to be able to do the loading and unloading properly. You'll have to run all the hydraulic pumps. So we would educate you on all of that before you come into something like that. We do allow inexperienced drivers and experienced drivers both to hire on for this. You'll see later on that it's a little bit more training than some of the others, okay? We're going to have regional options where you get home weekly and over-the-road options where you get home every other week. So definitely some great options within tanker. Okay. Those are kind of in a nutshell, like I said, the positions that are available to all of our drivers that are looking to hire on with us. I'll kind of talk about what to expect when you hire on then. So we definitely have some really great pay packages. Schneider prides itself on being above average in terms of pay for our drivers. We want to give as many increases that we can to drivers throughout the year to make sure that they're paying fairly. So there are some guaranteed increases that come automatically. And then there's also some that are not guaranteed, but when we review accounts, if that account has an increase, all of our existing drivers also take advantage of that. We have a wonderful performance package. Right now, for example, normally it's 4 cents a mile. Right now, my drivers are earning up to 8 cents a mile due to COVID. We've tried to increase that earnings for them just to help out not only at home, but some of them did get a few less miles than normal, or they had to work on other accounts. So we wanted to thank them for that. So we are allowing them to earn a higher income right now with that performance pay. We have a really great 401k with a company match. So you can look at that as getting money for yourself for that retirement. If you do choose to go to truck driving school on your own, we'll reimburse your cost of tuition. It does not require a contract with us. It just pays out monthly while you're employed with us. Let's see. I kind of went over the home time your way. So a lot of them are different out there, the daily, multiple times per week, weekly, every other week. Each account is going to have its own little nuances to it, and you would know about that before you hired on. One of the things that's really important with us in terms of respect is you never have to do anything unsafe. You're the captain of your own ship while you're out there, so you're able to make all of those safety calls, and you're always going to have individuals back in the office that are able to help you 24/7, okay? We definitely pride ourselves on that. We make sure that our facilities for our drivers are top-notch and where they need to be so that they can feel safe at all of our facilities. They're always going to have parking and the maintenance available. And then with our driving positions, we offer a very comprehensive benefits package. It's going to include the medical, the dental, vision. There's flexible and dependent care spending, TDL protection plans, personal legal plans, paid time off, some great discount programs. So a lot of options out there for you when it comes to benefits. So to get started with Schneider, once you have your Class A license, or if you're not sure how to get it, you can also apply for a position that would just talk to you about getting that Class A license and help walking you through the steps, or you'll have my contact information and you can always reach out to me also. But our website, schneiderjobs.com, is really the site to go on. There is so much information out there that you're able to see, so definitely take advantage of that when you're out there. You'll be able to see each of the individual positions once you put in your zip code. So you can kind of look at what's available in your area. Before you have your license, you can definitely look at that also so that you can say, is this for me? Is it not for me? There's definitely great opportunities to start looking ahead of time. Once you apply, you'll go through a short interview process. Everything is done by phone. If you apply before you're in school, not a problem at all. We hold your applications. And then we'll talk to you about how to get through school. We'll kind of coach you also while you're in school on things that are really important and stuff that you need to get it done before you hire on. We have great orientation. We want to make sure all drivers coming on Schneider do a little bit of advanced training and orientation with us. Our experienced drivers typically are 4 to 5 days. It says 4 to 18 there because our tanker driving has to be a little bit longer unless you've driven tankers in the past. But for those drivers that haven't, even experienced drivers need to have a little bit longer orientation. But most of them are going to be 4 to 5 days. For the experienced drivers, it truly is just an overview of everything you've gone before. gone through before, and then also testing with one of our instructors to make sure that your driving skills are where they need to be. And your safety stance is also very important to us. So we want to see how you're doing on the road in terms of safety. My inexperienced drivers are going to be out there about 3 to 5 weeks, depending on which opportunity. The tanker one is definitely that 5-week. The rest are typically 3 to 4 weeks. And it's going to be a lot more in-depth training. So it's going to advance on everything that you learned in your truck driving school with classroom time, simulator time, some behind the wheel training with our instructors. It will also include a portion of that time, what we call the training engineer portion, where you're actually going to be out on the road with a trainer that is always in the passenger seat in the front with you, coaching you and answering questions while you're driving. The best part about this is that it's all account specific at this point. So whatever you're hiring on for, that's where your training is going to be based, so that you are able to know what you're going to do once you do get out there on your own. Okay. Some stuff to do with our equipment and technology, and let's see, the focus on safety. I was just looking at the time, sorry, I wanted to make sure I wasn't running over, Ariel. For equipment and technology, we always have a huge focus on the driver safety aspect and the driver comfort. Safety is #1 in our fleets. It is so important to us. We want to make sure our equipment is just as safe as our drivers. So that is where you're going to see those collision mitigation systems come into play, along with electronic stability controls. We also have some lane deviation starting to come into our trucks. We have forward-facing and side-facing cameras to help with litigation. They never show into the cab. Some companies do have 360-degree cameras. We do not have that, and we have no intentions to get those. For the driver comfort, we've really switched to automated transmissions. It was a tough switch over to them since most drivers were used to that manual transmission, but now that they're in the autos, they're really enjoying it. And it's definitely helped the fleet increase their safety numbers as there's less distraction with the shifting and whatnot. In terms of driver comfort also, we have power inverters that are in every one of our trucks. They're 1800 watts for the most part, which allows you to run your microwaves, plug in your cell phones, charge anything in that truck while you're in there, because we want you to be comfortable when you're out there, and you won't have to run the truck to be able to do all of that any longer. APUs are going into the truck, auxiliary power units, sorry. And those are going to be doing the heating and cooling while you're in the truck. So you also, again, don't have to idle that truck, because a lot of states are no longer allowing much idle unless it's extremely hot or cold. So these will keep you comfortable in the truck, along with we're adding refrigerators and some really great mattresses within the trucks at this point. Okay. A couple of other things, more reasons to think about us now. We are your home away from home, is what we like to say. With that, we have, oops, sorry. I need to go back here. Sorry about that. We have a large variety of networks out there across the US. The orange dots on this map are what I call our brick and mortar facilities. Essentially, these facilities are owned by Schneider. We also have a lot of smaller facilities that we lease from customers while they're out there. They always have parking, and some of these have a lot of other nice amenities that are including free showers, free laundry, Wi-Fi, full service cafeterias, company cars, etc. So our drivers can feel really comfortable while they're out there on the road. On the right side of the screen, it's just a little icon that you can see for Schneider by the numbers. We've got over 15,000 associates, which well over 10,000 of those are drivers. But there's definitely some others in the office like myself or on the road to help make up that number. And we definitely pride ourselves on having those safe drivers. That 6,229 number is the drivers that went over 1 million miles safe driving, meaning no preventable accidents. We're also a very military-friendly employer. We have some programs like the Military Apprenticeship Program, credit for time served, and the guaranteed home time for your weekend drill and annual training for our military individuals. So we thank everyone for their service with that, and we've also been recognized by the military for that. And then the last slide, and I'll take any questions that anyone has. We really pride ourselves on our core values: safety, integrity, respect, and excellence in all we do. We want our drivers to feel part of the family when they're out there driving for us. We want to make sure that what they're doing, the schedule that they have, the type of work they're doing is what is most comfortable for them and best for their family. And first and foremost is that safety aspect. My drivers are never asked to do anything unsafe out there on the road. If they do not feel safe, they just need to call in, let us know what's going on so that we can help them make that safety decision. If it's, hey, I'm too tired or too sick, I can't drive, we need to get you the rest you need or get you home to feel better. If it's bad weather, you just need to stop. There's nothing on that trailer that is worth risking your life or the life of anyone else at that point. So I will open it up to questions. I'm gonna put that down. So if anyone has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer.
Nicole, we don't really have any additional time for questions at this moment because we're going to move on to our employer. No, it's fine. We're just going to move on to our next employer. But if you do have any additional questions for Nicole, then please type them into the chat and I can make sure that she gets those and you get your questions answered. But for now, we are going to move on to our next employer, which is Fedex Freight. And if you would just give us 1 minute just to kind of get transitioned over and we'll get started really shortly.